So I understand building a foundation for a deck on a ground floor close to the ground. You want a strong foundation. You want to make sure there's not going to be any imbalance, I believe we talked about. But let's say if I have a restaurant and I want to put a terrace 2 stories in the air. It's also quite near the vibrating earth of a train that passes. Is there any way to employ this kind of technology to build not only a solid foundation, but beams that would rise up out of the earth and create something solid so that I wouldn't be endangering my clients?
So I would say initially, first things first, like I always say, check with your local building code. Because chances are your local officials are going to say, this is not a good idea to begin with, don't do it. Then I would make sure my insurance policy is paid up properly. And then from there, I would speak with our engineers. Now, all kidding aside, any structure is possible. What happens when it's a very high structure like this out of the ground, what we would incorporate in our design is what we call cross bracing. So if you can imagine a helical pile, which would be way down here, and then our design is way up here. So we would have our tube connecting the two, and what would happen is, because it's very high, it becomes a leverage situation. And we have lateral end moment where it would fall over. So from there, we would use a cross brace, tying things together like that, and then the structure becomes very, very rigid, and there's no concern for movement.
So does GoliathTech also do the cross bridges or simply just the pile?
So if we were designing, it depends on the project you approached us with. For instance, if you approached us with your kayak rack, we would design and engineer only the piles to connect to the rack. If you came with us, your kayak rack is not a great example because we don't really deal with kayak racks, but something like this, if we were engineering to the connection point of the structure very high like that, we would engineer the cross braces and everything involved.